Hello, my name is Lynette Cunningham, and I'm excited to be able to share some information with you today about LifeVantage. The reason that excites me is that it has made such a huge impact in my life, as well as the lives of many people that I love. But before I get into the information that I intend on sharing with you today, I just want to tell you a little bit about myself and how I found myself here. And it goes back to when I was 26 years old. I was actually struggling with infertility, and I saw a series of many doctors who diagnosed me with multiple things, prescribed me multiple medications, none of which did my body need. And after years of going through that, I finally decided to take control of my health. And my way of doing that is that I sought out an acupuncturist who put me on a blend of herbs. The result was that in just 1 year's time, I conceived my son. So when I was introduced to LifeVantage and the flagship product that's comprised of 5 plants, I already understood the significance of natural medicine. In addition to that, I was intrigued at the idea of sharing this information as a business because when I was 21 years old, I lost my father in a tragic car accident. And what I saw happen is my mom, who had been a stay-at-home mom her entire life, was forced to have to figure out how she was going to provide for herself and my younger brother. And I recognized that my situation looked very similar to my mom's, in that my husband and I ran our own businesses, but he was actually the one that was out there doing the work. I was doing the paperwork and the books on the companies. But if the work wasn't being done, there'd be no paperwork to do. And so I recognized that I was in a similar situation. And that's a dangerous place to be, at least I felt it to be. And I saw LifeVantage as something that either one of us could do. And if something tragic happened, we could either one continue to run this business. You guys, life happens, tragedy happens every day. It comes in all different shapes and sizes. It comes by way of job loss. It comes by way of sickness or accidents. I believe LifeVantage offers a solution so that when life happens, we're better equipped to deal with it. So, in the next 20, 25 minutes, I'm going to go over some things that I felt to be instrumental in my coming to a decision as to whether or not LifeVantage was a fit for me. So, we're going to talk about the product and the science behind the products. We're going to talk about the company, the timing and trends as it relates to this world that we're living in, as well as the compensation. So, to do that, what I'm going to do is share my screen because I'd like to use a PowerPoint just to make it a little bit easier for you to follow along with me and understand more of what I'm saying. So as I mentioned, we're going to be talking about the company LifeVantage. And because we are going to talk about income, it's important that you realize that you get out of this business exactly what you put into it, much like anything else in life, right? We're going to be talking about flipping the switch on your genes so that you can feel better and do more. The reason that that's important is that our bodies are being attacked daily. The water we drink, the food we eat, it's full of pesticides and heavy metals. Personally, a lot of times we put ourselves under a lot of stress. Maybe we don't sleep as much as we should. Maybe we eat foods we shouldn't or drink things that we shouldn't. Environmentally, there's a lot of pollutants and sun damage and household cleaners, all of which attacks our bodies. The technology, the EMFs and the blue light, we know how bad all of these things are on us. So we cannot continue to behave the way that our great grandparents did, or even our grandparents for that matter. We live in a different world with a different set of rules. So it's important that we are proactive with our health. The results of the way that these attacks hit our bodies are that we have a decreased immune response. We have brain fog, or maybe we feel sluggish, lack of motivation. Maybe we experience fatigue. But what's really happening in our bodies is that we have elevated levels of oxidative stress and mitochondrial decline. But science has discovered that our bodies have the ability to repair itself. In fact, you and I have witnessed that. If we cut our finger, we can see that just within a couple days, it begins to repair itself. So, what if you could leverage those genes with the flip of a switch so that you could feel better and do more? Would you? Well, let's talk about that. Oxidative stress is the first area that we're going to discuss. Now, if you're not familiar with oxidative stress, I feel like this apple is the perfect visual of what it is. If you bite open an apple and sit it on the counter, within just a few hours' time, you can visually see it turn brown, right? Well, the same thing happens to us on a cellular level. And the way that our body combats that is that it produces its own antioxidant enzymes. The problem is that as we age, that production decreases. But by activating our NRF2 pathway, we're able to flip the switch on that production with a combination of 5 plants. And the results is that your oxidative stress levels are lowered an average of 40% in 30 days. That's mind blowing. The results of doing that is your body is able to repair itself the way that you can see this apple kind of repairing itself. Washington State University said that NRF2 is likely to be the most important health promoting approach in the foreseeable future. NRF2 may become the most extraordinary breakthrough in the history of health. That's powerful words from Washington State University. As I mentioned, our bodies produce their own antioxidant enzymes, but as we age, that production decreases. And the older we get, it gets far less, right? But by activating that NRF2 pathway, the production maintains the same level as it did when you were in your early 20s. You don't have to take my word for it. PubMed.gov is the National Institute of Health's Library of Medicine. If you go to this website and type in Protandim, you'll find over 25 studies that have been done by all of these different universities that are being listed. Harvard University, LSU, Virginia Commonwealth, Ohio State, American Heart Association, validating the science that I'm describing to you today. It's all about the synergy. You guys, the 5 plants, ashwagandha, bacopa, green tea, milk thistle, turmeric, many people take these individually, but it's this exact formulation that makes it so potent. This formulation is 18 times more effective than any one of these ingredients on their own. After discovering this amazing pathway in our bodies, the scientists went on to research what other areas could be addressed. The second theory of aging is mitochondrial decline. Now, if you're like me, I kind of forgot what my mitochondria was responsible for. I learned that in high school, but it's kind of like the energy source inside your cell. It's responsible for that energy production. And as we age, that production decreases. But by activating our NRF1 pathway with a combination of 5 plants, we're able to flip the switch on that production and increase it nearly 70%. Absolutely amazing results. And by doing this, we're able to kind of recharge that battery, right? That energy source that we all need. These 2 products can actually be purchased together at a slightly discounted price. We call it the dual synergizer, and it is the perfect way to address these theories of aging. These are some of the other products that we have available in the UK. And you guys, I would love to talk on and on about these products. I'll keep it short for the sake of this presentation, but you and I both know how important gut health is. This probiotic is a standalone product. It has a time-release ingredient so that it's able to get deep down into your gastrointestinal tract so that it's able to be productive in the way that we need it to be. Many probiotics get eaten up by stomach acids before it ever reaches the end goal. So all probiotics are not created equal. The omegas, it's responsible for our cognitive health. And again, omegas are fish oil. It's important that you know where those fish come from, because if they come from pollutant waters, that's no good, right? You don't want to ingest that. This omega can actually be tracked all the way back to the boat that the fish came off of. How insane is that? I love the transparency of these products. Now, these other two lines, well, actually, let me point out one thing. That Vitality Stack, what that is, it's the Nerf 1 and Nerf 2 Protandem in that pack. In addition to that, it's the probiotic and the omega. I take these every day of my life. I do not go without these. In addition to that, we have a skincare line with the same Nerf 2 technology as the science that we've already discussed. Your skin is your biggest organ. So when you think about being able to activate it with the Nerf 2 science, it's amazing and has incredible healing properties. Our hair care also has the Nerf 2 technology. So these are standalone products, absolutely amazing. And a lot of times people go, well, actually, let me just point this out. I don't know if you're familiar with the Think Dirty app, but you can download this app and type in any household product that you're accustomed to using and see its rating in regards to toxicity. I love that because it kind of pulls the curtain back on some of the things that we're using, maybe not so good things. So it's important for us to learn. But if you type in LifeVantage, you'll find the True Science skincare and hair care line with incredibly good scores, marking them as super clean. So I love that. But a lot of times people go, but I want to see a visual of what you're talking about. I like you've explained how it works inside, but I want a visual. So here's a visual. These two dogs are from the same litter. One of them was Nerf 2 activated, one of them was not. Now, you may not know this, but dogs have a much higher level of oxidative stress than humans do. So you can see in these two dogs how different they look simply by the activation process that's taken place. In the center picture, you see someone who's been using the True Science skin regimen, as well as taking Protandem Nerf 2 orally. And man, it's doing her wonders. Wouldn't you agree? And on the right, you see someone who's been using the True Science hair care system in addition to Protandem Nerf 2. You guys, when you're getting your body to produce its own, gene production, our own activating our cells, and you're using clean products, the results speak for themselves. Now, if you're like me, when I learn about something amazing, my natural tendency is to share it with people that I love. I mean, if I see a great movie, I tell my sister, my brother, like I tell people, I want them to benefit from it too, right? Well, you've just learned about some amazing products. And I know for me, as I was learning about it, in my mind, I'm going, ooh, my mom needs this, my sister needs this, my brother, my grandmother, my friend. And I start going through the list of the people that need it. And you may be doing the same thing, but you've only heard about the products up until this point. Let me tell you a little bit more about the business side of this. Our company is an 11-year-old company that's headquartered in Utah. It's a publicly traded company on the NASDAQ. Now, for me, this was a big deal because my husband and I had always ran our own companies. And if we were going to attach our name to a company, we needed to feel good about that decision. We spend our whole life building a name for ourselves. And I wanted to ensure that I was partnering with somebody that I'd be proud to represent. So the fact that this company is held under the same scrutiny and levels as these other publicly traded companies, to me, gave me confidence. We're a debt-free company. And we have a board of directors that's comprised of former executives from Coca-Cola, Airbnb, Amazon, SC Johnson. I mean, a stellar group of individuals steering this ship. The trends was important for me as well, because the reality is this, you guys, if I was talking to you today about the most amazing typewriter, there really isn't a market for that nowadays, right? People are like, a typewriter, I'll take a laptop. They're not interested in a typewriter. So it's important that the products that we're talking about is relevant to the society today. And I think you'd agree that people have shifted their focus towards being proactive with their health instead of reactive, especially with the craziness that we've seen go around the world in regards to people's health. So we've seen a major increase in the attention and the money that people are spending to be proactive. In addition to that, this business, you guys, is a business that can be done from home. And for me, that has given me a great sense of confidence that I've not been forced to leave my house to work outside. Um, I travel and I take my laptop or my cell phone with me, and I'm able to continue to build my business. But I feel like I'm making the decisions in controlling my business, because it's not up to whether or not I'm allowed to go to work, depending on the rules and regulations that are in place. So that gives a sense of freedom and confidence, at least for me, it does. Additionally, we do this through social sharing as well. Social media has become a very common thing for people to build their business on. That's another way that we build this business. You don't have to stock inventory. The company ships the inventory directly to the end consumer. So everything we do is on our laptop, on our cell phones, which really frees up a lot of our day-to-day logistics. In regards to the compensation, you guys, for me, look, we actually had 6 corporations when this was introduced to us. 3 were related to investment real estate, three were related to interior restoration of automobiles, and my kids were 2 and 4. Like, busy people, right? So when I was looking at this, it needed to make sense. If I was going to spend any more time, I needed to know that it was going to be worth it monetarily. So let me just go through some of these different ranks and what they're earning on a monthly basis, the average. This income disclosure statement is actually in US dollars. So just know that that conversion has not taken place to pounds. It is in US dollars, but our average income for a Pro 3 at LifeVantage is 626 US dollars. Now, you guys, I know that's not a ton of money, but it certainly would relieve some stress, right? It'd take care of 1 or 2 bills maybe, and relieve some of that financial pressure that many households are feeling today. Notice what the average income of our Pro 5s are: $3,100 a month. That's $36,000 a year. And they've reached that rank in an average of 16 months. Now, I want you in your mind to go back 16 months in time. And had you made the decision to get involved with LifeVantage, and at this point had reached the point of earning $3,100 a month in income, would that make a difference for you right now? How would that impact you? I know for most, it would be a significant impact. Notice what the average income of our Pro 7s are. It's $13,000 a month, you guys. Now, my husband and myself hit this rank in 18 months' time, and we had never done this before. None of our businesses were anything like this business. So it's a testament to what's possible. And for me, it gave us exactly what we were looking for, because we were looking for something of significance. And I'll tell you, you can notice in the income disclosure statement that the income continues to go up from there. So you might be wondering, well, how do I get involved? How do I become a distributor? Well, you simply pick a pack to get started with. In the UK, you start with a silver pack, 200 pounds. And in 8 days' time, you're allowed to upgrade to a larger pack. The advantage to the larger packs is that you're getting more product at a discounted price. So for me, when I got started, I wanted the platinum pack because I wanted to experience all of the products so that I could market them effectively. I also wanted to have some on hand to launch my business, to share some of what I was, getting started with. This is a global business, you guys. I'm in Florida. Obviously, this business is in the UK, but there's many other countries that it's available to do business in, and there's many other countries that we're yet in. So I know there's so much growth yet to be had, but it's exciting that we're able to do this business in this way. You might be wondering, can I do this? And I get it, because for me, it felt very much outside of my comfort zone. I had a lot of unanswered questions. But what I found is that I really could do this. And the reason is that there's a system in place that you can plug into. We call it our ITT system. We simply invite people to a tool where they can get some more information, and then we connect them to our team. And that is exactly how this was introduced to me. That's exactly how my husband and I built our business to the Master Pro 10 rank. And it's exactly how our business is still done to this day. So the fact that we were able to do this without experience, to me, just kind of illustrates what you can do simply by following the system. In addition to that, there are regular meetings to plug into and trainings. And nowadays, a lot of it is done virtually, which makes it super convenient. There's also corporate events that take place and trainings and incentives, so many incentives, and a private support community, which honestly, I never had in our traditional businesses. You might be wondering, but where do I go from here? Right? And for some of you, I know you've gotten a lot of information, but maybe you feel like you still need a little more. And that's okay. That's great. There's plenty of information for you to get. Or maybe you've heard enough that you're like, you know what? I want to start benefiting from these products. I want to become a customer. And that excites me because I know that you will benefit. Or maybe you're like me and you're like, you know what? I want to take the products, but I want to take advantage of the business too. Like I can see the potential and I want to get in on that action. And whichever area you find yourself, I just encourage you to get back with the person who invited you to this information and let them know where you stand. And what I'm going to do at this point, if I can get my cursor to work with me, is I'm going to stop the share because I really just want to share a little story with you, because I told you that at the onset of this presentation that I feel LifeVantage to be a solution so that when life happens, you're better equipped to deal with it. And I just want to illustrate that with a story. My husband and I have some friends and business partners that live just about 45 minutes from us. And when they got involved with LifeVantage, they were running a very successful nonprofit organization. And quite honestly, they felt too busy to add this to their plate, but they felt like it could be significant. And so they made a decision to say yes. And they started building their business while running this nonprofit. And within 2 years' time, they had hit the rank of Pro 8, which is an average income of $20,000 a month. Now, the reason that I tell you that is because what happened next was life altering. They received a phone call from their son's employer. Now, their son lived on the other side of the United States, and their son's employer said, "Have you heard from your son? He hasn't shown up from work. He's not returning my calls." And they both knew that that wasn't normal for him. So they were very concerned. And they started making phone calls and found that he had been in a tragic car accident. So they both stopped everything in their life, of course, and flew to be by his side. And they stayed by his side in the hospital for 2 months while he underwent surgery after surgery after surgery to save his life. The good news is that he has come out with flying colors. He's very healthy. But during that time, you guys, they were not concerned with how they were going to pay their house payment back home. They weren't concerned with whether or not they were going to even come back to a job because of not being there for 2 months. They weren't concerned about paying for health insurance or car payments or anything else, because the work that they had previously done with LifeVantage, that check was coming every month while they sat by their son's side in the hospital, which is exactly where you or I would want to be, completely present and focused on where our attention needed to be focused. You guys, I recognize that there's things in our lives that sometimes prevent us from taking action. Sometimes we give excuses, and some that are legitimate excuses for putting things off. But what I've found is it's the one that take action that reap all the rewards. It's the ones that take action that have all the memories and moments. And it's the one that takes action that really gets to take advantage of situations when they're available to be taken advantage of. It's time to take action. So I hope that this information was beneficial to you. I hope that I was able to deliver the information in a way that it makes sense and that you can benefit from it the same way that I have. So I hope that you have a wonderful day and thank you so much for your time.